Hello, my name is Ryan. I'm going to be painting. Oh no. There's a hair. I just cleaned that brush. Anyway, I'm going to be painting the skateboard. And I might be talking about some stuff. I don't know. It's just so much. It's so much. So much percolating around in my brain. So much content being thrown around. I think I'm finally at a saturation overload. And yeah. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah. So I'm going to put some cad red on this. And then I think it'll be done. I don't know. Don't really want to say anything's done until I've lived with it for at least a month. There's my button. There it is. Cad red medium. It's weird. I just got done watching an episode of Tucker Carlson's podcast, which is something I thought I would never, ever do. And I'm so glad I did. We had the Prime Minister of Qatar. Qatar? I've always thought it was Qatar, and then listening to the interview is clearly not. It's a fascinating individual, fascinating take on politics, like finding the middle ground, using peace and diplomacy, operating on fact. Revolutionary stuff, I swear. But yeah, I'm glad he was on Tucker Carlson's podcast, because his demographic probably needs to see somebody from that area talking reasonably than anybody else. I'm not going to elaborate on that, because I think we all know what I mean by that. Anyway, I just appreciated it because he's like one of the best ones as far as calmly talking about some really intense situations and pushing a middle ground perspective. Base it in like reason, respect, and overall reality and facts. And try to do everything as peacefully as possible. It's funny, the look on Tucker Carlson's face on some of those responses was just like, oh no, he's making absolute sense. And he's like, how can I ask a loaded question? And there's a few times where it's like, you go like, wow, that was a loaded question. And his response and the prime minister's responses were amazing. I tried to pronounce his name. You know what? I'm going to do it once. Because I don't know about whoever might be watching this, but names are important. So I always ask people, I was like, if they have a name that's like commonly shortened down, like I'll ask them, like, what do you want to be called? Because I've heard like people call you like 4 different names, but like which one resonates most with you? Like, what's your name? Anyway, so this guy, Prime Minister of Qatar, Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani? Wait, hold on. Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani. Okay, give me a few times, I'll be able to say it. But and anyway, if you see this, please correct my enunciations, because I'll have to hear it. Because like when I watched it and I was like thinking, I was like, I don't think he ever said his name. And then I looked at it, I was like, okay, I could see why he wouldn't make the attempt. But anyway, unless it's like a so where it's like I instantly thought, I had a brain burst of it. Maybe he didn't say it for a reason. Maybe there's a cultural saying that I'm not aware of. Darn ignorance. It's kind of a baseline for Americans, though. It's very sad. That's one thing that's like, I wonder what the education system is like in Qatar, because like they're responsible for Al Jazeera. And Al Jazeera is, in my mind, one of the best news outlets because it's almost always middle ground. And I shouldn't say almost always. It's like that's the news outlet that kept me grounded during the first Trump election or Trump presidency. You can actually get solid news coverage that was unbiased. It's just, the headline was a fact. And the article was an elaboration on that fact with more facts. And the tones of the articles didn't really seem to have bias. The only time that there was any sort of bias was in the clearly marked opinion sections. And just like, oh, that's how newspapers used to be everywhere in this country. Now it's all clickbait. And people pushing the narrative that facts aren't necessarily true, which is the causing people to doubt science, believe in nonsense on both sides. Which is funny that when they got to the net zero talk, it's like that's a nice thought, but like reality is different. And you can't go to either direction full hearted. You have to find the middle ground and ease towards a goal, and then see how the middle ground from one end works out, and then for a few years you reflect on it and, okay, what's working, what's not. Let's find the middle ground again. Let's keep on working and keep on working and keep on working. And eventually you have a nice flow and it goes smooth. And then it's just about like were your goals actually like beneficial for the group dynamic or just yourself? Because that's when I feel things start to go awry, especially for Americans. Since we have that whole like, you have to be self-made, you have to be strong, you have to do it yourself nonsense that at least people from my generation were raised with. Which, if you're wondering, I guess what was... No, kitty. The best description that I've been told is elder millennial, which is fun. The whole generation thing is weird. I always thought it was Gen X, but like tail end. But whatever. The hell was I talking about? Oh. Where it's like the built-in fault in American logic of being the self-made, going out for oneself, working towards a goal, and then getting to that point and getting to where it's all smooth and realizing, oh, well, that was not that fulfilling. Because I wasn't thinking about the whole dynamic. I was focused on one goal opposed to a goal of many. That one's not straight. It's kind of got a oof to it. Anyways, I am grateful I watched that interview. And yeah, I even hesitated because it was Tucker Carlson. It's like, because I have opinions. Even though I try to find middle ground on stuff, it's like, it doesn't mean I don't have an opinion. Like, clearly, I like to side with people who are more in line with democracy and diplomacy. And this is where I'm going to say I'm kind of ignorant of Tucker Carlson just because my feedback loop has him painted as a villain. And yeah, he's kind of a douche. Everything that I've seen is kind of a douchebag. Let's see. Hi, kitty. Where to put... Okay. cat hair. I forgot to breathe. That's a weird angle I found myself in. All right. I swear, she sits there when I'm painting just so my arm occasionally hits her head. If you're still watching at this point, I have nothing else to say on the topic that I started with. In fact, I barely remember it. Other than Guitar Prime Minister on Tucker Carlson. Awesome example of middle ground diplomacy. And I think I should buy a microphone. Oh, cut. It's a cold day, isn't it? Alright, odd angle again. Remember to breathe. Okay. Interesting progress. I'm not sure where to go with this. No. Let it dry and come back to it in a day or two. If you're still watching, doubtful, you all have a good day.
World Cup a few years ago here.
Wrong button.
Was